call the meeting to order at 8:32. And I will also read that we are authorized by the Governor's Emergency Executive Order issued on March 12, 2020. The Fort Bragg Unified School District Board of Trustees will conduct Board of Education meetings via video conference telecommute until September 30th, 2021, or until further notice. The meeting will be streamed. Actually, this meeting is going to be recorded. Members of the public who wish to address the board during the board meeting are asked to please submit prior to the start of the meeting by emailing boardmeeting@fbusd.us. Staff will make all attempts to share and record any submissions received prior to or during the board meeting. However, depending on timing, late submissions may be provided to the board after the conclusion of the meeting. Comments are limited to 3 minutes each. If you require translation services, please contact Renee Holes at the district office 72 hours in advance by phone or email. And I also will share our vision and mission of the district. Every student receives engaging and challenging learning experiences to reach their greatest potential and thrive in a diverse global society. And mission is FBUSD delivers exceptional, engaging, equitable, and collaborative learning opportunities for all students. This takes us to 1.2 on the agenda, approval of the agenda. Do we have anything to move around or pull? Otherwise, a motion, please.
Move to approve the agenda.
In a second?
Second.
Anyone opposed? Okay, so moved. All in favor?
Yes.
So moved. Do we have any public comment on agenda items? This is a special meeting, so we can only address items that are on the agenda.
There is no public comment on agenda items.
Okay, moving on to the action items. 2.1 is personal action report, certificated staff.
So we needed to do this. The personal action reports got split in half between classified and certificated, and we need this in order to be able to approve some of our credentialing issues.
Okay. Are there any clarifying questions from the board? And if there are any public comments?
No public comments.
Otherwise, are we ready to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. We approve item 2.1 personnel action report.
In a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Trustee Schneider,
Yes.
President Paoli,
Yes.
Trustee Makela,
Yes.
Trustee Matson,
Yes.
Trustee Babcock,
Yes.
carried 5-0.
Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is agreement between FBUSD and the City of Fort Bragg, California for water sharing.
President Paoli, we have two people on the line with us, and we also have Tabitha Miller, City Manager for Fort Bragg. To answer any questions you may have, we also have counsel from representing Fort Bragg Unified. We have Aaron Stagg. On the phone, we have Jean Salesi, who is counsel for City of Fort Bragg, and we have John Smith, Public Works Director for City of Fort Bragg. Welcome, everyone. So you have before you the MOU that the city requested in regards to using the well at Redwood. And I forgot to include that Barry Silva is also joining us for this discussion. There were some questions regarding indemnification and questions regarding the use of the well. So we wanted to bring that to you in a special meeting so that we could discuss it right here with all of the key players available to you. So the original MOU was sent to all of you, I want to say a week ago. And we have an MOU that Aaron Stagg added a few adjustments, and Tabitha Miller sent it to legal counsel for the city. And so there were two additions in it. One was item G, which is, let me pull it up. Does everybody have a copy of the MOU? Would you like me to share it on my screen?
I think everyone has a copy.
Okay. So the one item is item G, that the city consulted with the water law attorney, and based on such advice represents and warrants that this water sharing agreement does not violate federal, state, or local law regulations. And then the other thing that was added was on item 9, indemnification and insurance. that the city shall fully indemnify, hold harmless, and defend district for any and all liability related to or arising out of the exercise by the city rights granted under this agreement, including without limitation claims by neighboring landowners related to impacts of it to their wells. So that was the addition there. So what you have before you is you have an MOU, the city requesting to use the well at Redwood should the water emergency become so critical that water is needed in the city. Questions?
Okay. Trustee Mattson?
I have a question on 3B. What is the scope of the treatment equipment and where would it go? Is it something that would have to be constructed on school property?
So this is John Smith. I can answer that. So the equipment is expected to be placed on the north side of the CV Star Center. So there will be no equipment, and even the piping from the well. I'm hoping that Barry might be able to help me out with I believe there's a 2-inch line that runs across the field, and we might be able to connect to that on the CV Star property as well. So potentially no equipment or plumbing on school district property.
Cool. Thanks, John.
You bet.
Any other board member questions? Trustee Snyder?
Yeah, so first I apologize for missing the first discussion at the meeting, but why the October 1st date? Rains, don't usually come for a while longer, and I'm just wondering why it's not longer than October 1st.
So when Tabitha and I discussed this, we felt that we would look at this in increments, that if it was needed, that we would hold it till October 1st, and if we needed to go longer, then we could come back and review it. The idea was that this was going to be a very temporary emergency safety plan, and we didn't want to prolong it to say this was going to be used in perpetuity throughout the whole year. Tabitha, does that sound right to you?
It does. And obviously we're open to extending it, and there is a chance. And if we end up having to use the well water, there's a good chance that it will go past October 1st. But I think the idea was at the time, especially that we put this together, we weren't sure exactly where we were going to be. And we quite frankly don't know even today exactly where we're going to be 2 months from now.
We wanted to also give the board the opportunity to review it. So if we stopped it on October 1, then we can look at it again. Is it too much? Is it too little? Were we impacted by it? How does it work? Mary?
Are you able to extend it past there without board approval, or do we have to come back and convene to vote on that?
I would say that if we're going to extend it, we should include it into the October board meeting. I would like this to be very public. I don't want anyone in the surrounding areas to think that we're trying to do something behind the scenes. So I like the idea of having the dates. Yes, Mary.
So as a follow-up to that, then if we wait till the October meeting and water gets even more critical than it is now, then would the city have to stop pumping for a period of 2 weeks? Or I forget, our meeting, I think, is the 13th or something. Would they have to stop pumping for that time?
We could hold a special meeting before then.
Okay.
So we have until September 30th to keep doing meetings like this. So we could hold a special meeting on the 30th, which is before October 1, to address it. Tabitha?
Thanks.
I was just going to make the comment, if we wanted to extend it to the date of your first meeting in October, obviously the city's more than welcome to do that, and we would also have to extend it from the city standpoint, so maybe that gives us a little bit more time. So if you guys met even in a special meeting on September 30th, that would give me time to have a meeting with city council before it would expire, if we put it if the district's open to that.
And our October meeting is October 21st.
I don't know how the rest of the board feels, but I don't think an October 31st date is that crazy, seeing that we're approving this probably a lot later than Becky and Tabitha first thought we would. So I'll just throw that out there with the board.
Okay.
And just to clarify, our next regular school board meeting in October is October 21st. It's typically 2 weeks, the second Thursday, but that second Thursday is our October break. So that's why it's extended out to that third week.
Well, and I think given that we can take on a special meeting, we could probably just be in communication with the city to know the timing of everything. And I don't think anyone on the board doesn't want to assist. I think the agreement was made, the revisions were made to clarify that we will be, that we're not violating any federal, state, local laws, along with, our impact. We were very concerned about the impact of homes that do have, I guess there could be potentially some homes that are only well-based in that area, maybe a few blocks away, and aren't hooked up to city water. But and does the agreement have to specify what well we're using? Doesn't really have to have that specificity?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
Aaron, is that something that we need to be concerned about?
Was that a question to me?
This is Jeannie Zalesi. I wasn't aware that there was more than one well. I think it would make sense to have either an exhibit or some description of the actual well that will be used. Yes.
Barry, is there only one well at Redwood?
Yes, there's only one.
Okay, that takes care of it.
Okay.
And I think I believe the MOU says specifically refers to the well at Redwood.
Yes, it references a parcel number of the property that we will need to insert.
Right. And it's left blank. That's why I was wondering if some clarification on the location. And it looks like it's been converted to a temporary water sharing agreement title.
So, quick question for Mr. Smith, if I may. What exactly is going to trigger the use of this well, and how much water are you expected to get from the well?
So as far as quantity, we expect 40 gallons a minute when needed. As far as when that might be triggered, it's with our surface water sources, it's very difficult to tell. Really, it depends on our saltwater intrusion at our Noyo River source. And that's anything over a 6-foot tide contaminates that source. So the need comes on a pretty regular basis, and you can actually look at the tide chart to take a look at that. But we've got 15 days of high tides in September, and chances are equipment will not be here to provide us water from that well at that time. We've got about a 4-week lead time for the equipment. So yeah, as far as timing when to use, it's challenging. I can't give a timeline. It's not like we have a reservoir that we can look at and gauge how many days we have left, similar to other agencies. But we can give forewarning. We can tell you when we're getting behind and give you some notice. That's about the best I can do. I wish I could do better for you.
So my understanding is that we're 4 weeks away from being able to use the water, for the city being able to use this water. So essentially, if we approve the MOU with October 1st date, we're giving the city a week to be able to use the well, which I'll again kind of just say October 31st just seems to maybe make more sense at this point.
And if I might provide a little bit more information, we do work closely with the Division of Drinking Water, which is our regulator as far as the water treatment. So they're very well aware of this well, and we've been talking about it for 2 or 3 months at least. So they're the regulator overseeing this project and the equipment involved. So just so you know, the state is involved in this as far as regulations go.
Okay. Thank you for the question. So am I hearing, is there anyone else that would like to extend it till the 31st of October? Is there any, Trustee Metzen and then Mary Makala?
No, that makes total sense because you could set the whole thing up and expend the funds and then not have any time to use it. Hopefully you won't have to use it. So that's a great question, John, I guess, myself. John, what happens if we get to that date, the machinery gets here and it starts raining 10 inches and we don't need the water? You're just going to leave the equipment set up at the Star Center?
No, we won't. It's a skid mounted unit. We'll put it on a trailer and take it back to the courtyard for storage and use in the future.
And I do agree with Scott. I think extending the date somewhat is a good idea.
Trustee Makala?
And can we go ahead and amend that on the agreement right now and still go ahead and vote? Yeah. Well, I agree totally.
Are there any other concerns with both legal representation here? If the board has any concerns, now would be the time to ask. I just want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to ask legal all your questions. We have both attorneys here.
Trustee Mattson?
So my assumption is that if we go ahead and amend this agreement to October 31st, we get there, at that point, we decide not to extend it again, we're done. Everything goes away, correct?
That's my understanding, yes.
And do we have, Trustee Babcock?
I just wanted to thank the parties that jumped on getting the two things that we were concerned about last week. The, if somebody came after the district because of their own will, it seems like now we're covered. And then that they take on essentially representing us and saying that it is, so we didn't have to hire a second lawyer. So I do appreciate that. So that was all as far as the lawyers for me.
Great. So are there any other questions, or is there public comment since we've been chatting for a bit? I don't know if anyone else is on link.
There's no public comment.
Okay. And I also appreciate the language that this is a stage 3 emergency, because that's a level of, we're not just doing this for to disrupt everyone. So hearing no or seeing no other questions, no public comment, are we ready to make a motion?
Excuse me, this is John Smith again. One more time. Sorry, I can't raise my hand.
I'm sorry. Thank you for speaking up.
The only question I had, and this is probably for the attorneys, recitals 1B, it talks about the district's various irrigation and consumption needs. Just that word consumption. I'm not sure if there's a different definition, but you all don't use that for drinking water, right?
No, we don't.
So, and that may be a cause for concern to the public potentially, with that word in there.
Yeah, it's no problem to just say which district uses to supply water, period. That's more comfortable.
Erin, do you see an issue with that?
No, I'm fine with that change.
Okay, board members, thank you.
So
go ahead, Scott.
So I'll make a motion to adopt the agreement between FWSD and the City of Fort Bragg, California for water sharing, amending 1B as noted, to finish off that sentence, just which district uses to supply water, period, and extending it to October 31st instead of October 1st.
Okay.
I'll second.
Very good. And also including the AP number or this location.
Yes.
So we have a motion and a second. Are we ready for roll call?
Trustee Babcock?
Yes.
Trustee Snyder?
Yes.
Trustee Mattson?
Yes.
Trustee Makala?
Yes.
President Paoli?
Yes.
And motion carries 5-0.
And Tabitha, can you get the parcel number for us? Is that?
Of course, we'll get the parcel number. We also will bringing this back to City Council in the current form to get their sign off on that. We have a meeting scheduled on the 30th, a special meeting, so we'll include it as part of that packet. And I just wanted to say thank you very much. We really appreciate this. We all hope that we don't need it, but it certainly will be helpful to the city of Fort Bragg if we do. So thank you very much for your efforts.
Thank you as well.
Thank you, Tabitha.
So thank you all for gathering today quickly and all the work of all the parties. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
In a second?
Second.
Thank you,
Second for you, Mary.
Trustee Snyder. Thank you so much.
Thank
Have
you
a
very
great day,
much.
everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good day, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you all.